What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get back on track. Sorry it took yesterday off. There wasn't a whole lot going on. Anyways, I had to just, I was having conversations, political conversations, trying to get more of a clear picture about what's really going on over in the Middle East because it does affect what's going on in Iraq, and of course affects the currency, and in addition affects the long-term investment if you're going to get into the ISX to buy shares over there in Iraq. We'll get into that here in just a second. I want to remind everybody because I'm going to show you something later on in regards to precious metals, a trend that you're going to see that should help you to be very happy about your investment. Okay, so if you're thinking about buying precious metals, which I highly recommend, then give our friends over at Money Metals Exchange a consideration. The link is in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you buy more than $100 worth of precious metals, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and get a free half ounce of silver. Later today, I think it is later today, we did an interview with Stefan from Money Metals yesterday, so we'll probably get it released today. I did it with Rice Crypto. Anyway, every time we do interviews with Stefan, they're always very, very informative. He's going to be covering what you need to know about transferring your 401ks or your IRAs into precious metals, whether you do it the full account or if you just do part of your account, okay? Everybody knows I'm still on Facebook's punishment list, my timeout. So until I get off of there, you still can reach me over here on Twitter. The link is in the description, so come on over there and join me. If for whatever reason I get kicked off of Twitter and YouTube, you can come over to this link here. It's called the GESARA Club. You can see there's a lot of other content creators here that I think you'll enjoy. But anyways, just find my profile and click it. And when you click it, it'll take you over here to my profile. And you can see all my videos are in here. And you're able to link them to all these different platforms if you want to. Share them, which I would appreciate. Also, I encourage you to sign up for the newsletter. And the reason for that is if I do kicked off the platforms, the people inside the GESARA Club know how to reach me. So once I start getting new locations, they'll be able to inform everybody where I am. So, come on over and join. Plus, there's a ton of other good information I think you guys will enjoy. Okay? So as I was going over the news, I was just reflecting. Again, I do have friends in the government. And, one of the things we do talk a lot about all the time is geopolitics. Now, they don't know anything about the currencies. There's nothing they can share with me. But what they're able to share with me is things that are going on geopolitical. And from there, you can make a real educated guess about what's going on for the most part. People are feeling very pleased, very, very pleased in our government about the progress that Iraq is making. And what I mean by that is any areas of security, early elections, and just replacing all the corruption, doing away with all the corruption and investigating the corruption that's going on over there. Again, the one stress that is being talked about, if we're being honest, the one stress for Iraq is, it's going to sound political, but if the left gets in office, that they're going to go back to this Iran nuclear deal, and that's going to destabilize the East over there again. And the reason for that is once the funds start going over there, Iran's intentions were to and still are to build a nuclear plant and blow Israel off the map. But in addition to that, control and be the main controller of the countries over in the Middle East. So they try to do that. They were involved in the wars in Syria, Lebanon, Yemen. They were funding and arming the armed gangs, the militia that were over there. So, don't be surprised if the left gets in office. They don't go right back to that. Again, their intentions are to create a map of groups of people in this so-called agenda to control each areas, and Iran was supposed to be responsible for controlling the Middle East. So this wouldn't be good for a lot of these Arab nations. It really wouldn't be. But again, I'm letting you know what some of the concerns are. So what they're trying to do is, I told you long before they announced them that you're going to see peace agreements in the Middle East, and so it looks like Jordan is aboard, but the grand finale, if they get this pulled off, which I have a feeling they will, sometime within this next week, we're going to see a lot more countries coming aboard on this Abraham peace agreement. And this will go a long way into stabilizing the Middle East and bringing peace to the Middle East. There's still, in the news, you saw 17 of these bankers and investors in Iran were put on Trump's sanctions list. Okay, so they've really put in a lot of pressure on Iran. But one of those countries that might sign this Abraham peace agreement is Iran, believe it or not. So we're going to keep an eye on this because it's real important for us that are invested into it. It's important for your dinar, and it's also important for those of us who are on the stock exchange. If you can get stability there and bring security there, you're going to start seeing a lot of outside investors coming in. Perfect example already right here. When Iraq went and did the European tour, and right away they're already in consultation with a gas company from France. Okay, so this is what we want. Why is that, Pimpy? Well, it's a good thing you asked. Look at right here, it tells you this. It said that the government's reform paper requires strengthening, supporting, and providing opportunities and a safe investment environment for global companies. See, that's really, really important. And I think a lot of people internationally are seeing that Iraq is doing a great job. Now, you don't have it down 100%. All the boogeyman over there are not gone. Look, they're going to be there. That's just part of what happens in the Middle East. Eventually, we hope they get some stability in there and that doesn't become a problem any longer. Okay, it says, and working to increase the volume of prospects of corporations with major partners in order to promote the hydrocarbon industry and optimal investment of national wealth to enhance the national economy. So if these outside investors come in, you guys heard me say it a million times, they create jobs for the locals. The locals get off welfare. The locals get off of unemployment, which means getting money from the government and nothing coming back in. It moves from that to now the employees working, so they save the money that they'd be paying them for these entitlement programs. But now, as the employees are working, of course, they generate taxes, which can help strengthen the Iraqi economy. And when the economy is strong, the dollar becomes strong. And when the dollar becomes strong and our U.S. dollar becomes weaker, the exchange rate increases, okay? Sunnis announced a new block of 35 deputies, just kind of as we get closer to early elections, you might start seeing some of these types of movements. I think this is more about self-preservations with a lot of these groups. The writing is on the wall. If we get the international community to come in, oversee a free and transparent early election for Iraq, you're going to see a lot of these Iran-supported, Iran-backed politicians voted out of office. The protesters, some of their biggest complaints were the outside influence that are ruining the opportunities and things that Iraqi people need. So anyways, a new group has formed. So basically, in a nutshell, it just says a group of political forces and a number of independent representatives held an important meeting this evening. And what they said is the political, security, economic, and social, as well as health situations in Iraq. And in the meeting discussed the nature of its challenges. It says the country faces the sincere national efforts to entails aimed at achieving early elections under natural conditions that are not challenged by uncontrolled weapons or the desire to intervene in drafting laws that represent the interests of the political blocs, not the interests of the people. So what they're saying here is, they're already seeing the writing on the wall that these elections aren't going to be controlled by a bunch of armed gangs telling people what they can and can't do. And they need to get in there and do something about the people who are trying to block laws that are meant to help the people and not those individuals who are corrupt. So, anyways, finance announces the depletion of the loan funds and links salaries insurance with legislation. As we know, part of the budget was the borrowing laws were approved, I believe, in Parliament. So it was necessary. Okay, there's some other factors I think that have come in to help Iraq. As you guys know, they've been expediting their application through the World Trade Organization. This would be very big for Iraq, and open them up even more on the international scene. They get benefits when you're members of the World Trade Organization. Okay, so we're keeping an eye on that as well. So for the most part, there's not a lot of other things going on. Look, at the government will hold special meetings to assess the reforms. So when Al-Kadhimi got back from Europe, he said that the government will hold special meetings to follow up on memorandums of understanding signed with the European countries and assess the progress of the financial and economic reform plans. Now, I know a lot of people think the rate change is in here, but the rate change is not in the reform papers themselves. I told you guys just the discussion. And then if you saw in some of those articles that said that the reform procedures and policies were meant to be implemented over a period of time for future governments. It would take about 3 to 5 years to do. A lot of people thought that that meant that it was going to take 5 years before we got the rate. That's not the case. They're just talking about all the different steps needed, all right, to change things in Iraq and make them more prosperous, all right? So that doesn't mean it's going to take 3 to 5 years for a rate change. That can happen at any moment, okay? So anyways, I just wanted to clear that up. I took a time off yesterday, and look at here's Trump delivers remarks after announcing Sudan will normalize relations with Israel. Yeah, the other big ones I'm looking forward to seeing pull this off. We know Iraq will be aboard. Saudi Arabia will be aboard, especially after this wrote that letter, kind of cutting ties with the current leadership of Palestine. But Palestine will be aboard too, and so will Iran. If Trump gets reelected, we're going to see probably, well, he'll get elected. I have no doubt about it. We're about to see the most prosperous time in human history. We really are. So, anyways, watch Trump get his now 5th Nobel Peace Prize nomination this year once he signs these things. But again, I'm anticipating a much bigger one being announced. So expect that. This is all great news for people in the Middle East. And I'm expecting these type of announcements to really help with outside investors feel really good about coming in there. The more they see these nations cooperating with one another and agreeing to peace and willing to work on the international scene and bring in businesses, this is really good. This is a good time to be holding an Iraqi dinar. And, let me just remind everybody. So over here, you got the NESARA shop. You guys can come over here if you're interested in buying Iraqi dinar or the Vietnam dong. They also have the Zimbabwe dollars and the Indonesia rupiah. All right, so you guys come on over here if you want to buy more, because I know it's dang near impossible to find now here in the States. And in some of your countries, you're not allowed to buy them at all. They have no location for you. So these people here, they do ship worldwide. All right, the link is in the description. So if you do buy from them, when you get to the discount code, you can put in Pimpy, Pimpy, and it will give you a discount on your orders, all right? Which is good, just saving money. So that's it for now, you guys. Not a whole lot going on. I did take a big day yesterday. I rested. I did 2 big interviews with Rice. So hopefully it'll come out today so we can share them with you because they're pretty informative. In addition to that, I spent a lot of hours yesterday speaking to my friends. Wow, there are other things. Well, I won't rant about them on here. I'll do a Pimpy's rant so you guys can kind of hear what's going on. This is about Iraq. All you should know is they're doing really, really good. Really, really good. And so you should be very excited about the fact that they're heading in the right direction. And this is really good news for all the investments. All right, you guys, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later.